And which way will it go? Both men bloody. Both men gave it all. And we will hear from the judges when we return to Top Rank Boxing on ESPN.
Today's best.
I got to be honest with you. I don't know who won the fight. From what I'm seeing, I wouldn't be surprised if they have it a draw, but I would go with Zepeda. TstreeT Controversy. This is TstreeT Controversy Live. That shit was close to call. That shit was close to call. And whoever wins, you can't call it a robbery, but I'm sorry. I don't think I can give that fight to Ramirez. The 140-pound division is stacked, but it's stacked with talent that is like budding talent, not necessarily really big known names. However, I was shocked to hear that they said 14,000 was there at the Jose Ramirez versus Zepeda fight. And I've noticed that Top Rank events outside of, the Kovalev fight we heard about last week, the Alvarez, their events have been doing really, really well in regards to ticket sales. What's their strategy? Are they giving tickets out and not like, talking about it? I'm not trying to throw no shade. I'm really trying. They do really well. And also, we're just, chewing the fat, bullshitting around while it's on commercial break before we listen to the cards. Also, what movie is this? This looks cool. Oh, that's a video game. Let me turn this shit off. It's distracting me. What was I saying? What was I saying? Oh, fuck it. This is what I do when I run out of shit to say. This is TstreeT Controversy. This is TstreeT Controversy Live with FightView360.com. And we cover every single major fight live. I was saying that Top Rank undercards are the best undercards in the business. There's something about the presentation style on ESPN. Their undercards, even the ESPN Plus shit, be good. Better than the Zone and damn sure better than PBC Showtime shit. For some reason, PBC Showtime undercards don't really have, like, they're missing something. I mean, outside of, for example, this weekend was Ishe Smith versus Erickson Lubin versus Ishe Smith. Big undercard fight for hardcore fans. The Javier Fortuna versus Bagori fight. But it's something about Top Rank undercards with the matchmaking and everything. They fire. So the 140-pound division is fragmented in a way between, a few entities. Maurice Hooker over on the Zone, WBO champion. Remember, he had went over to foreign territory and Top Rank and won that fight. They took my video down. We're not even going to talk about that. In fact, let's pull him up real quick. He's fighting, I forgot the date, Les Pierre on, what card is that? Who's headlining this? I forgot. Dimitri Bivol versus Joe Smith, March to 9th. Just about 3 weeks or so away. He's the WBO champion. Remember, his last fight, he had went over there and beat Alex Salcido, beat the shit out of him pretty much. Oh, wait, we're here.
30 of Dion's double play. It'll be Sports Center with John Anderson and Steve Levy. They're going to give you all the highlights with LeBron. And
the other fighters are in the World Boxing Super Series. Ivan Baranchyk is taking on Ivan Baranchyk is taking on Josh Taylor. I forgot the exact date for that. I believe that's in April. And I forgot that Freddie Roach and Robert Garcia had that beef. Remember that shit? Remember when motherfucking Alex Ariza Leonidas kicked Freddie Roach in the chest? That shit was crazy. People really don't like Freddie Roach. And a lot of his fighters were really upset that they were paying for his services, but then when it came to fight night, he would be sending Marvin Somodio, like the understudy, out with you. That was kind of shady to me.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 12 rounds of action, we go to the scorecards.
Let's listen to these cards.
Majority decision. Here are the score totals. Judge Ray Donseco scores them at 114, even a draw. Overruled by judges Glenn Trowbridge,
we got a champion.
Sees them at 115 to 113.
He's in the fighter's hometown, the champion's hometown.
116 to 112 in favor of the winner.
That's Ramirez home.
And still champion, Jose Ramirez.
With his family ringside and his son Mateo in his arms, Jose Ramirez celebrates a victory. Second title defense. It comes by way of majority decision. Listen, we were sitting here ringside as we're coming down the stretch of this world title fight, sizing things up on the scorecards that we keep. I think there were 5 rounds for Zepeda that you can make an argument for. A good 5 or 6 for Ramirez. A couple swing rounds in there. I don't have a problem with the draw. I have absolutely no problem. I'm centered more on 115, 113, 116, 112 is still within range. I think a majority decision is a comfortable and acceptable result we get tonight. Dre, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it was a fair and just decision. I really love the way Zepeda performed physically, but also mentally. He never broke, he never gave in. But when you're coming to a champion's hometown, you have to be more emphatic. You have to do a little bit more to leave no doubt.
Tim, I know you were impressed by Zepeda, weren't you?
I was impressed. I thought Zepeda did enough to win the fight. To be honest with you, I know Ramirez came on strong in the end, and I knew he would, but I thought Zepeda, you know, was able to hold
what Twitter's saying.
Defend the champion and defeat the champion tonight.
Look at that cut under the left eye as Hall of Fame promoter Bob Arum celebrates with his champion Jose Ramirez. Mark Kriegel, what do you say?
Listen, did you see how Ramirez closed? That's the best of him. He was outboxed tonight, and he found a win. Let's keep this in mind. He's 26 years old. This was a necessary step in the education of Jose Ramirez.
He's now 24-0. He's the WBC champ. He could be unifying titles, perhaps in the course of the next year, maybe a step to welterweight, maybe a meeting with Bud Crawford. Here's Bernardo.
Social media is saying Zepeda,
who gave a great account of himself. How do you feel falling short in Jose's hometown after a great performance?
Well, it's kind of sad. I mean, I worked a lot. I worked over 2 months, and this is the second time I fell short. It doesn't feel as bad as the last time. I mean, the last time it was a shoulder injury. This time I was able to go 12 rounds with the tough fighter like Jose Ramirez, and I mean, this is okay. To take a loss in his house, it's fine. I mean, it was better than last time.
You boxed really well. For times you sat there and traded punches like you said you would at times. What lacked tonight? What could have got you over the hump?
Jose Ramirez, I think his people helped him a little bit. I mean, if it was me and my people were cheering me, I would get, you know, extra motivation a little bit at least. But he's a tough fighter. I knew he came here with conditioning, and I think maybe that's what it was, a little short in conditioning, and that's it.
Thank you very much. And now we have Jose Ramirez, the champion here. You gave your fans a lot to cheer about. That close was spectacular. How tough was Jose Zepeda tonight?
No, he was very tough. He was very crafty. You know, a good southpaw, very, very smart. You know, like we expected. You know, he had a good range, good distance, and it took me a while to get comfortable and be able to close the distance. You know, but he was very smart. Every time I close the distance, he will grab and hug, and you know, he fought a smart fight. But I just kept on pushing. I kept on pushing myself to close the distance and to land my punches, and it was a very close fight. I knew it was a close fight, close rounds, but I think the championship rounds is where I think I came out victorious.
Now, you got tagged a couple of times early on in round number 9, but the thing you hadn't fought through was a cut. How was that?
Well, it started from a headbutt, you know, and then he landed I think like a right uppercut right on it, and then a couple more headbutts kept opening my cut, and yeah, it was my first time, so it was an experience for me as a professional to go through this type of adversity, you know, but it's a great learning experience, and I think, you know, I'm ready to go back in the gym and continue working on my craft.
Who's next for you?
You know, first of all, I just want to thank, you know, I want to thank God. I want to thank my family. I want to thank all the fans here in Central California for coming out and support the fight for cancer. You know, it's a very important issue. And, you know, I felt very motivated with all this crowd cheering me on throughout the 12 rounds. And
who do you want?
I want champions, man. Honestly, I felt like I beat the top contenders. The guys ranked high in the WBC. Now I think it's time to go unified. If no one's out there to unify, then we might give it a shot at 147.
Thank you
Terence
very
Crawford.
much. Big win for Jose. Joe, we send it back to you.
Perhaps he does go to welterweight. Bud Crawford is waiting there. Bud, of course, has something to be said this spring against Amir Khan at Madison Square Garden.
Hey, I forgot about this.
Championship boxing coming your way. What a stretch of top-ranked boxing on ESPN. Rob Brandt, who's a dynamic fighter out of Minnesota. He got a piece of the middleweight championship. That's the WBA. He will be in action against Basin Gurov come Friday night. That is a 9 o'clock start time on ESPN. Join us then. Coming up next, it'll be 30 for 30, Dion's double play. Ray
Beltran had a solid, nice-ass win tonight.
Over the previously undefeated Okada. And then the fan favorite here in Fresno, Jose Ramirez, retains the WBC Junior Welterweight World Championship with a majority decision win against a feisty and game Jose Zepeda. For everybody on the crew, I'm Joe Tessler.
So let's talk. Let's talk about the 140-pound division. It's tied up in a very the World Boxing Super Series. We don't know what the fuck is going on with it. Season 1 was big. Season 2 so far, you know, I've covered every fight in the World Boxing Super Series. Every fight. Even the undercard shit I've been covering. Not all the undercards, but I've been covering them. It's 3 divisions. 118, 140, and cruiserweights. They're having major financial issues. You saw it because the first round, they were pretty much giving the fights away. They were being streamed on ITV. I could have streamed them shits. Real rap. Tickets wasn't selling. That's probably the ESPN Jose Ramirez alert. You know? So, Ramirez, WBC champion. Regis Prograis, what is he? The WBC interim champion, correct? Crow Rolak is going to be taking on Regis Prograis. They're trying to get that fight finalized. Regis Prograis, according to the rumors, he wants out of the World Boxing Super Series because he sees all this money floating around. And if that fight was to happen between him and Rolak, it's not going to be until April or May. Josh Taylor, WBC silver champion and mandatory for Regis Prograis or Jose Ramirez. Prograis is Ramirez's mandatory, but it was some type of agreement put together where they'll fight after the tournament. So basically, right now, Jose Ramirez, if he holds on to that title, he could very well fight for 2 other titles and get, you know, those 2 stones out of the way. I'm sure that Top Rank wants that for him to fight the winner of the World Boxing Super Series, get those 3 belts, and then go after Maurice Hooker again, maybe, because he's fighting Les Pierre. Then he wants to fight Chris Algieri after that. Then likely his mandatory could be the winner of Ray Beltran versus probably Jack Catterall. And Beltran just fought earlier in the night and got a win. That's how the WBO works. I know it may sound a little bit confusing, but basically Jose Ramirez right now, you know, unless he fights Ray Beltran next, they can pull that off. There's talks of Terence Crawford, if Terence Crawford beats Amir Khan April the 20th. Right now, they're on kind of a close enough timeline if it was to happen to fight in the fall, late summer, early fall, meaning Ramirez and Crawford. But also Maurice Hooker, they want to fight. But it's that political thing over there with Top Rank and the Zone. And both of those sides, Top Rank and the Zone, are watching the World Boxing Super Series very closely to try to get their fighter, either Maurice Hooker on the Zone side or on Top Rank side, Jose Ramirez, to fight the winner and get their hands on those other 2 belts and get that mandatory out of the way. To be 3 birds with 1 stone, some shit. But, you know, we knew how this fight was going to go in regards to a close fight. They said it was 14,000 people there, as we talked about earlier in the video. So, you know, Zepeda, you know, this was a tough pill for him to swallow. I covered his fight against Terry Flanagan years ago. This was a tough pill for him to swallow. And this was back when there was no fucking ESPN Plus and DAZN and shit like that. I had to fucking go hardcore First Row Sports back in the day to watch them shits. I used to be pissed. No, wait, that could have been on TV? Nah, I think that was on, well, whatever. Anyway, you know, he just didn't do enough in the fighter's hometown. Yeah, don't get me wrong. He didn't want to get knocked the fuck out because Jose Ramirez ain't no joke. But, of course, the decision was going to go that way. I would have been shocked if it didn't, even though I did have Zepeda. And from looking at just a gander at social media, the fans had Zepeda too, or a good portion. But I agree more with Timothy Bradley. I'm TstreeT Controversy. This is TstreeT Controversy Live. We cover every single major fight live. We're back on a Saturday, as you can see. You know, we're going to be monetized again likely this week. Trust me, we're doing it. We're doing it. We're doing it. We've been unmonetized for a good maybe 50 days or so, some shit like that. So I just been really, really like, basically I can't tell you what the plan is. But, you know, we've been dealing with a copyright battle. And right now we kind of have the upper hand. So, please subscribe. All links to my social media right down below in the description box. I am TstreeT Controversy. This is TstreeT Controversy Live.